me, fella. Look here.
Broadcasting live from inside the power band, this is The Blah. In this episode, everybody dies. I'm your host, the Wolverine, along with my super companions. Head in a jar, Higo.
Hi there.
And the Slab Lab, C-Lab, the orange sassy squirreliest.
I like it. What's up?
What is up indeed? I'll tell you what, we're doing a sci-fi classic. I don't know if this is a sci-fi classic, but it's Terry Gilliam, so it kind of makes it a classic in my book. And that would be the 1985 Brazil, starring every British actor that you know,
starring British
and
people.
Starring British people that we all know, and Jonathan Pryce and De Niro.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, yeah.
Frodo Baggins.
Dude. I was literally watching this going, Ian Holm should be popping up in here somewhere. Like, I knew nothing about this movie. No, I didn't look at the cast. I didn't look at anything. I was like, Ian Holm should be popping up. Sure enough, homie walks into the office. There he is, fucking hiding next to the file cabinet. I was like, oh, of course, there he is.
Mr. Lowry.
Dude. Yeah, it was great. Very funny. Okay, high level, man. Go.
High level go.
High level
I've been singing the song for like the last 6 days, whistling it. The Brazil
which one?
song. Very catchy. This is
Nice.
a legendary movie for me. It's a very nostalgic romp. I very much enjoy.
Tell us about that.
Ridiculous, satirical, crazy, psychedelic, ridiculous, Gilliam-esque shit, and this is all of those things.
Yeah, scratching your itch, man. I like it.
I haven't seen it in a very, very, very long time, and it's quite funny, man. I was cracking up throughout, despite its bleak nature.
Yeah.
It's a reasonable,
Feeling you there, man.
reasonable high-level stopping point.
Yeah.
Very good.
Very good, Shaw.
I'll rate your high level a B+. Benoit.
Okay. Before I sat down for this watching, I thought that maybe I had only seen bits and pieces of this movie at various times. And then I realized as I was watching it that for whatever reason, this movie does not hold my attention.
Okay.
And I tune out and then tune back in. So I think I've probably seen it, upwards near 4 or 5 times.
Yes.
And I just
can't
notice
catch it.
different things on each watching.
I understand that phenomenon, yes.
Yeah. So subjectively, I think this is an excellent movie, but I kind of don't like it.
Yeah. It just doesn't hook you.
Personally. I don't know why. It just I don't know. It's, it's got it's the Terry Gilliam thing, and I dig that, but it's just, I don't know, it's got really funny parts, but it's just kind of got such a depressing and menacing undertone that it makes it hard for me to fully
that
appreciate
only the
humor.
British can deliver. Right. Right?
So,
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll leave it there. But, I mean, don't get me wrong. I know this is a great movie. It's just for some reason doesn't jive with Jarhigo.
Yeah.
That's totally fair, man.
I can see that. And so I'll just slide right into my own with that. I'm not going to exactly echo that. I know that phenomenon. There's just a handful of movies that it's fundamentally, I know you're great, but I just fucking tune out every time I try to watch this particular whatever it is. You know what I mean? So I get that. This movie for me was the sets, the dressing was just fucking amazing, dude. There's some effects in this movie that are so cool for 1985.
Yeah.
I just it's so fucking confusing, man. I pulled up IMDb like as I was watching it because I watched it today right before the show, and like I was like it was funny. Like there's a lot of funny parts, and just like the window dressing is just so excellent, man. You know, and all the like just bleep bloops out the ass and like all kinds of wires and pipes and all kinds of great shit, right? And like the computers and all, you know, da 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 da. Anyway, I was just like, what the fuck is this about, dude? You know, like I read the synopsis and I was like, okay, so that explains Bird Girl and Bird Man. You know what I mean? Like I could not figure out what that was for like an hour or
Figuring
more.
out
And
what?
then, you know,
The dream sequences.
the dream sequence thing. So, you know, then I was like, oh, okay, so this is really about him getting the girl, you know, and the backdrop is, you know. So I love a good fleshed out backdrop, like excellent world building, and this nails it, dude. You know, and it's got that great Gilliam style that I just love. Kind of, I think I labeled it sewer punk in
something like that,
or something like that. And yeah, it was cool, man. I'll leave it at that as we go through it. But yeah, it was definitely challenging to watch. Like I'll echo that part of Ben's high level. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, what am I watching, dude? I wasn't not enjoying it, but I was like, what the hell am I watching? Like, what is this, dude? You know, like, what is this all about? So
it's very Euro artsy cinema.
I only watch auteurs.
Yeah.
It's a movie about ducts and pneumatic tubes.
That's it.
Yeah, totally,
and
man.
paperwork.
And bleep bloops, bro. And paperwork and bleep bloops.
I forget what I was like watching some, critic review of the video or something, and one of the comments was something along the lines of in this imaginary future, the main technology is magnifying lenses.
You are not incorrect, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not a Tarantino movie, that's for sure. You know?
No.
That and the phone, man. Like the phone was something that came in straight away in the beginning, and I was like, that is the most bleep blooped out phone I have ever
with
seen
the plugs in
any movie.
Beer.
Great.
beer.
I loved it, man. And it was just so weird and kooky, man. You know?
Yeah. Kookie's the word. Yeah, I've probably seen this one. Shit, man, I don't know, dozens of times. You know, like it's one of those. When I was a teen, it's when I was a subversive teen who wanted to tear down the man and punch Big Brother in the face. Like this was in my repertoire, you know, on Nantucket Island, where all of the where all the action happened. You know what I mean? Like,
totally. So this is your sort of post Sean Connery Mosquito Coast.
Yeah. This is
rebellion. Let's tear down the world phase.
This is my post ethnobotany phase.
You were determined to destroy the machine by being utterly destroyed by it?
Yes. Jumping into the gears, jumping into the wood chipper of the machine. So I don't know, like to be honest, man, one of the last times I probably watched this was with Chrissy Snaps. Like we used to all just like sit around smoking weed and just watching this movie on repeat, you know? So
nice. This is a movie for that activity.
Yeah, it's just like for the teenage fucking dingleberry mind, it's it's kind of like a Donnie Darko. Like it's super confusing and there's kind of pieces missing, but like it has this like allure to it, and it's got the funny bits and it's kind of Python-esque, and it's got 1984-ish kind of bits, which, you know, fuck the man kind of stuff. So like it's got a lot there, but I think because I've seen it so many times, and because when I was a teenager I didn't know shit about shit, it took me quite a few watchings to kind of get it. And so yeah, I was curious if that was just because I was dumb when I was 16, or whether like on a first viewing it's kind of confusing, because it kind of falls apart in the second half, you know, pretty hard intentionally.
Yeah, kind of.
It's like, what the fuck is going on here? You know, like fucking Jello lady falls out of her coffin and he goes through the back of it, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on here, man? And then it's like, oh
yeah,
okay.
It's like the dream world and the reality start to sort of
smear together,
smear together. Yeah.
I was feeling more like it kind of starts to cut, like they do a long setup in this movie, and that's fine, but I feel like it starts to kind of come unraveled like after hour one, and then like 40 minutes later, it kind of starts to like regain cohesion as we really get this sense of like the love story kind of comes into play. You know what I mean? And then there's still definitely weird shit happening, no doubt, but It's sort of coalesces again again at the end there. Okay, I was going to ask you that question, Chad. Like, what is your sort of connection to this? Like, what's your experience with this movie? And that was a pretty thorough answer.
Yeah, and I think it's mostly appreciation for Gilliam's weirdness. Like,
no doubt.
Back in the video cassette movie rental days, I was not exposed to as much of the weird shit just because of the selection of the video store. Like,
of course, bro.
It was not easy to get your hands on crazy ass weird European fucking movies, at least in my experience. Maybe they were there and they just didn't have fucking enough tits and ass on the cover, so I never rented them. But it's just so out there, man. I don't know. It was like, it's a different kind of brain breaking as like Star Wars Episode 4. When you're a kid, it's just like you've never seen anything like it before. And this isn't really that, but it was kind of like teenage me had never seen anything quite like that before. And so it's attractive in that way. And then it's like fuck the man / the man fucks you kind of dystopian, which is, it meshes really well with like depressed teenage kind of ideas. And then it's funny, and it's got like a lot of Python-esque stuff. And so you like mix that all together, and it's attractive to a kid, I think. A teen,
It's attractive. It's attractive. Period, man.
Sure.
I mean, that's a great answer. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed watching this. I mean, from my adult point of view, like, it was still great, dude.
Yeah.
Confusing as it was great.
I feel like I resisted this one in the video store. I remember picking it up and looking at it when I was, probably younger than you were when you first saw it.
Yeah,
Chad.
probably.
There you go.
And then like finding my appreciation for like Monty Python and finally watching it and then being like, this is nothing like Monty. I mean, it's sort of like Monty Python, but it's like
sort of,
but not, and sort of being like, oh, well, that wasn't what I was looking for.
Yeah. And you can say that about all of Gilliam's stuff, like Jabberwocky and stuff as well. You're just like, oh, that's not what I was expecting here. You're expecting coconuts and fucking, King Arthur.
Yeah, I mean, there's no shortage of absurdism here, but it's a very different tone. So I don't, I mean, there wasn't a lot of information about stuff at that point, but I feel like somebody older than me was like, oh, you like Monty Python, you should check out Brazil,
Yeah.
And I was like, it was not what I was looking for.
This is not what I'm after, bud. That's it.
Definitely not, dude.
You went and watched Spaceballs instead or something,
Yeah, exactly.
And, you mentioned, like, there wasn't a lot of information back then, and I totally agree. But also, like, just for the sake of curiosity, I read all of the things here in prep for this, and there isn't a lot. I found that there wasn't a lot of explanatory stuff, like, there wasn't a lot of videos on YouTube that were like, this is when it's dream sequence versus this is when it's reality, this is the point when it falls apart, kind of, like... Nowadays,
like
YouTube,
analysis breakdown video. Yeah,
I would have expected like a full video essay from somebody like Nerd Writer or one of those guys, but
bro.
Nothing.
One of the good ones, but even one of the bad ones where it's like the top 10 things you missed from Brazil.
Right, even something like.
Well, you can't. I mean, you can like just toss a pebble, dude, and you're gonna hit a 40-minute video about pretty much every movie made in the last since the 80s.
But there's not a whole lot here.
I keep coming across them, man. But no, not for this, and not for Gilliam movies in particular. I think it's kind of a particular taste, man. You know, he's got a very sort of distinct style. It mixes that absurdism and some comedy with a lot of darkness, man. I mean, like fucking 12 Monkeys, bro. Dark lever.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is pretty fucking dark, dude.
Yeah, this is dark, man.
It's really fucking dark.
It's dark as fuck.
What's the late, the newest Terry Gilliam? I feel like there was something.
Oh, there's Zero Theorem, which I haven't seen, which is very much in line with this, actually, from what I hear.
What else? Those more recent Terry Gilliam, off the top of your head? 12 Monkeys, I think is probably it, right?
Yeah, Monkeys is probably the most well-known recent one. Didn't he do that? Yeah, he did Heath Ledger's final film, The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. I never saw that.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Oh, I saw the Zero Theorem.
Oh, wasn't it good?
Actually, I quite liked it.
Really?
It's definitely a similar vibe. But But,
Christoph Waltz, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's
I like that.
2013.
It's a little
That's
more-
like his real newest one.
It's a little more hopeful, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think, well, Time Bandits for sure. That's probably the Gilliam movie I've seen the most because like that I was able to latch onto as a kid.
Yeah,
Because
and
even though
Munchausen
it's-
for me. I don't really. I think I only saw Time Bandits a couple times, but that Munchausen's the same for me.
Yeah, I've never seen Munchausen. Now,
Fisher King
Time Bandits.
and
Oh fuck! I forgot about the Fisher King.
Fear
bro.
and Loathing are
Fear and
probably
Loathing would
my favorites from Terry Gilliam. But
Yeah.
And all dark. Like Time Bandits is super dark, dude. Fisher King gets really fucking dark, man. Like
I mean, Fear and Loathing's pretty
It's-
dark too, considering it's like
what are you talking about? Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with Johnny Depp?
like
yes,
Thompson's subject matter is kind of the dark
Dark.
corners of the 70s psyche kind of thing.
Mhm.
Definitely. So yeah, just darkness, man. A lot of darkness there.
Darkness
That's
enveloping me.
Morse code. For what? SOS.
All that I see. Absolute horror.
I'm gonna go lift some weights. Hang on.
Drink some motor oil, bro.
I don't know. I think
Wow.
I think what I was
yeah.
driving at is that he has a particular style, and the darkness is a part of that style. Like, it's, along with the absurdism and like the cool kind of sewer punk thing that I think that he's kind of invented this. So, it's a particular taste, man, and not everybody digs it, dude. And that's why this is where we were. That's why you don't see like a lot of these like analysis kind of videos. I don't think people can analyze it, man, because some of it is just so completely out there, man. You know what I mean?
psychedelic or
Yeah, in an interesting way.
I watched like a somewhere around an hour long making of video, and nobody in the movie could fucking tell you what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know, it's kind of this and kind of that, and
it's about paperwork.
yeah, the best people could really come up with was like genres, like, well,
Yeah.
it's kind of absurd and it's kind of a comedy and it's kind of like dystopia, but there's a romance, and it's like nobody could really put their finger on it.
The romance thing, like the synopsis, as much as I don't love IMDb anymore, like the synopsis is one line on when you get to the page, and it kind of sums it up pretty well. It's like basically a dystopian sort of romance. You know what I mean? Like
A bureaucrat in a dystopic society becomes an enemy of the state as he pursues the women of his dreams.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of true.
pretty much sums it up.
Kind of, it's hard too, man, because the thing about this movie too is that there's just so much going on. Like it from the story point of view and visually, dude. Like just to try to take it all in is a lot, man. Like 12 Monkeys is very cool looking, in the future, and Time Bandits as well. But like this movie is just like every single frame is full of detail. Visual detail, and I really like that a lot, but it can be overwhelming for the viewer, man, because you can get distracted trying to soak in just a particular set in a scene, and you're just like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
Like his office, for instance, like when he gets promoted and he goes up to his office, and I was like, I didn't think anything of it, but like the fucking 20-foot ceiling, dude, and it's so small, and he shares the desk, like it's just there's just so
the
much
desk-
going on just right
The
there.
desk thing totally grated at me, where he's like,
Really?
he tries to put his like books down and like they fall over, and then he's like
Yeah.
fighting with it, and like realizes that he's sharing it with the guy on the other side of the room. I don't know. I have like these
Yeah.
like awful stress dreams that are just like
Like that.
they're I mean there's scenario like just futile scenarios like that, where you're just like trying to accomplish something and it's just like you cannot do it. And it's just like a feeling of dread, and it's never like I can never remember the details, but I just wake up and I'm like exhausted, and
It's basically that.
it's totally something like that going on in the dream, where you're like
that's
fighting
funny.
for death space with the guy across the hall. Yeah,
Or like when you're like running from a monster in the dream, dude, and your legs are like goddamn rubber and you cannot get any fucking
Can't move.
speed going like that.
I imagine the dream, Benny, is like those weird carpentry moments where you've got like a knee on something and you're holding something with one hand and you're trying to nail something with the other hand to get it flush, and it just keeps like getting nailed in, not flush, and you have to keep pulling the nails out and putting it, you know what I mean? Like just this really fucking
great
annoying
analogy,
thing.
dude. Yes.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Great analogy.
I love it. Like, yeah, that scene really grated at me because I have these stress dreams. It's like, oh man, that sucks. You know, like you're watching a video that's just like poking that fucking deep dark button inside. It's like, oh,
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just, you know,
Yeah.
this feeling of futility and dread just like washed over me. I was like, oh, God.
that pause right back there in when we were talking a second ago was I wanted to say, and now we're gonna have a moment of silence for Ben's stress dreams.
Right?
That's so weird. That's so weird.
I don't know, man. I
Please
think
no.
like that's it. It's kind of interesting that you bring that up because for me, I enjoyed the futility of the movie. Like it was a multiple watch thing for me as a younger person, so you probably
Right.
pick it up as an adult, but just the like Buttle Tuttle, the fly falls into the thing and it totally changes the course of that. You know, the poor bastard gets bagged because of fucking typo, and then
Yeah.
you know, Jonathan Pryce's character, he just wants to be a cog in the machine, and obviously the point of the movie is he gets, you know, eaten by the machine. But like it's just so futile, you know, and the futility of it all is the bit I liked, I guess. Like it's very dark and depressing, but it's just such a fucking meat grinder of a movie, you know? Like it's just like all of these things just stack up.
It
It's
is
just
a bit
these
of a meat
like
grinder.
fucking logs of shit, you know, just being stacked on top of one another. I don't know, man. I liked that bit, but I totally get how it would put you in like a
You know,
fuck
I
this space.
think that's the point, you know, and that's part of what makes it good. But it just, you know, again, like I forget this movie. Like I know I've seen it. I forget what happens, and like I started really like rooting for Sam, you know, like
yeah.
to break free of the whole thing, and then you
It's
know,
not
spoiler
happening.
alert, he definitely does
Doesn't.
not, despite the fact that you're sort of led to believe that he does for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just I was like, oh, if they just stopped the movie like 10 seconds earlier, I would have been okay with it.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah.
And they did. You know, the Yanks got a hold of it and they did that. The bit where like he's hanging in his fucking bag and he's in front of the guy who's telling him about how much he's going to be charged for his interrogation when he's reading off his crimes, and it's like the whole movie, you know. He's like, and then you had that entire fucking fleet of personnel vehicles that you did something with, where like they took the one thing that got lit on fire by the kids, and the bureaucracy turned it into him stealing fucking 20 fleet vehicles, you know, like just the like ridiculousness of it all. And then like he got charged with falsifying his boss's signature when Ian Holm kind of was like, oh, I must have broken my hand, because he doesn't want to sign the document because he knows his ass would be on the line. Like it's just so bureaucratic. I don't know, the bureaucracy of this is just fucking hysterical and so terrifying, you know. Like
it's hilarious, but it's almost a little too close to reality.
Exactly.
In some respects, you know.
Exactly.
But it's good like that at the same time, right? Like it's a little too close to reality, but it's like it's good that it's like that because it is a piss take, albeit a dark one, you know.
So dark.
And they're shaving real close to the
dude, like fucking
close to the line.
Fucking Jill has a hole in her floor and she's like, are you okay? You know, to the lady. And then she goes to the fucking ministry of whatever and with her paperwork, and he's like, oh, have you gone to the other one? You know, and like because she's asking a question that's uncovering a mistake, she's now being labeled a terrorist. Like it couldn't possibly be the bureaucracy's fault. She must be a terrorist.
Right.
Like it's just so fucking dark, man. It's just so fucking dark. I just love how fucking nihilistic it is. It's so crazy,
that's a great
dude.
example of what you're talking about, yeah.
And the fucking Buttle Tuttle thing, like, I don't know, man. It's like the metalist fucking movie. The family's like reading the fucking Tiny Tim and the Christmas Story, and like the kids got the little G.I. Joe of the cops, and then all of a sudden the dude just gets fucking bagged and tagged, and they give her a receipt, you know, like, and here's your receipt for my receipt. It's like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
It's so fucking hardcore.
Yeah.
It's all right. Two things. Is this a Christmas movie?
I mean,
that's a good question.
You kind of have to say yes if you say yes to Die Hard being a Christmas movie, and I'm okay with this being a Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too.
And just sort of a by the way, no offense to anyone named Jill, but there's something really funny about hearing the name Jill in like a romantic context, you know, like Sam's like, oh, Jill, you know, like it just sounds funny. It's just like,
I love it. That's like,
oh, Jill.
The perfect little like gripe of Kev.
That is. That's a weird one and a good one. I like it.
Am I wrong?
No,
though?
you're
I
fine.
Mean, I don't know. Just
my
my
sister's Jill, so like I kind of I'm well used to the name, I guess.
Mm.
I hadn't thought of it, but now I am thinking about it as we're speaking. I'm like, there might be something there. Oh man.
I don't know. It's like some movies are so bleak that the bleakness is the point, I guess. Like I've mentioned a few times I'm like a member of a few different like book style subreddits, you know, that's like sci-fi books or whatever. And it's like the amount of people that are like, it's like literally every 24 hours someone puts up a post on Reddit. It's like, recommend me a book that will crush my fucking soul and make me cry blood tears, you know? And it's just like, why would you want to do that to yourself, you know? But I kind of feel like this type of bleakness is kind of like that, where it's like sometimes you just want to just bathe in the fucking bleakness, I guess. It's weird. But I think the fact that this is a satire...
I almost never do.
Yeah, I do too. I'm the same.
Is bleak enough.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I don't enjoy it. Like, I didn't watch all of fucking the Walter White show because it was a little bit too heavy, you know, despite the fact it was masterful, you know? And I think maybe it's the satire and the funniness here that, like, keeps me watching it. I don't know. Because it's fucking hilarious.
I don't mind being bathed in a little darkness when I'm feeling that way. Like if I've gotten my heart broken in the past, you know, I've been kind of like that. But as a general rule, no, I don't want to be bathed in blood and bleakness, man. No, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm all set with that. There's enough of that in the world around me. You know what I mean? Like, no.
I don't know. This one, I just like. I've it's been a long time. I don't watch it like monthly or anything, but the feeling of bleakness is part of the attraction on this one, I guess.
Well, I think it's part of the whole thing, but the odd thing about it is that if you go by just the synopsis of the story, like it's not bleak. I mean, it's the guy's chasing. I mean, in the bleakness, the guy's chasing his love dream, his love interest, right?
Yeah.
So it's like there's something very hopeful about that,
I guess.
And he somewhat, I mean, somewhat turns into a bit of an anti-hero in that, you know, he's becoming an enemy of the system by pursuing that person that he loves. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like, I get what you're saying. I'm just,
yeah. He tries and fails, but at least he tries.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like hope and love. They're there, you know, despite the bleakness. So while I agree with you that it's super dark and bleak, dude, that there is that other thing there is key because it's a key part of the story.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of the mission of the movie is to make you feel that futility and that oppression and that, you know, that sort of menacing undercurrent of that just like blind bureaucracy that's just like a, you know, unstoppable machine. I think that's all there, and you're meant to feel that, you know, you're meant to feel that sort of hopelessness, and you know, I would like, I guess the comedy and the romantic aspects are supposed to try and, you know, showcase the absurdity.
Yeah,
of the thing.
Yeah. It shows you what's wrong with it.
You know,
it highlights it highlights why you should fight against it, kind of, you know.
You know, it's funny, man. The only other movie that's done like, well, maybe not the only other movie, but Hitchhiker's Guide did a really good job of it.
Yeah. Is it a different
the
side
Vogons,
of that?
but, like,
It's like
the
the
other-
dialed up to 11 style of it, the comedy. But yeah,
Well, hold on. The other movie that did
There's a
it
lot
really
of Vogonity in this movie.
Yeah, definitely. But the other movie that did like showed the ridiculous futility of the bureaucracy so well that's like such a funny movie is fucking Office Space, dude.
Mhm.
Like, you watch, you know what I mean? You
Sure.
watch Office Space
Yes.
and you're just like, the
Yeah.
fuck, man. Is this real? Yep, it's real.
yeah.
It's-
There's the Idiocracy stuff as well, you know, and then obviously you've got the
Oh,
actual
yeah, there you
1984,
go.
which is based obviously on a book, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Still.
Have you guys? I imagine the answer is yes, but have you guys read 1984?
No.
Really?
No, I have
Oh,
not.
man, you
No,
guys should read it.
I have not read it. Okay.
It's very much that, you know, like because you haven't read it, I won't. It's nothing really to spoil, but
Whatever. I don't
this
care.
is
Go
this
ahead.
is very much
I don't care either.
like that in the sense that like this was meant to come out in 1984. It's very much based on 1984. Terry Gilliam said that he never actually had read it, so like it kind of works in that way that you guys have not read it because it's very very different. But I'd highly recommend it. It's one of the better sci-fi style world building pieces out there, and it was written in the 50s. Like it's legit one of the better things ever written.
I'm familiar with the premise, etc. I haven't actually read it.
It's referenced constantly, dude.
I bring that up because there's like some weird shit. You know, like Clockwork Orange kind of has its own linguistic stuff. Like, you know, Anthony Burgess pulled in a lot of like Russian slang into the world. And so like a lot of the time you have no idea what's being said, but you kind of pick up the meaning of it.
Wow.
Similarly, like there's like the idea of like doublethink and kind of the one of the more interesting pieces is like they change history and like the main character's job is to rewrite articles based on what the politicians are saying and burning the old copies of it so that like they're changing history on an ongoing basis, which is similar kind of to like this,
Wow.
but also simplifying language where like they reduce the number of words that can be used. So like instead of good and bad, there's good and ungood. And so when you remove words, you remove the ability for people to communicate with one another, which then allows you to have better control over them. So there's like a lot of really interesting ideas in there. And I feel very similar, like here, it's like, it's almost like the paperwork is the way that all of the things are justified. You know, it's just like, oh, well, you need to, do you have a 27B stroke 6? You know, and they're like, oh, you know, like the scene, this scene in the fucking room is just so good.
Bob Hoskins. Yeah.
It doesn't exist unless the paperwork is there or the form is filled out.
Yeah,
You know what I
and the
mean?
bottle
Like,
tunnel, the fly
yeah.
causes a typo, and then the fucking dude gets bagged and killed, and then the wife gets overcharged for the fucking interrogation murder of her husband, you know? Like,
Right,
later on,
yeah.
Michael Palin's like, well, I didn't know that he had a heart condition because the guy I was supposed to torture had a heart condition. You know, it was not my fault. You know, it's just like so fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
But the check was meant for Tuttle, right? I'm just trying to like get some clarity here.
Yeah, they charged the wrong account because they took the wrong person, and Palin as the torturer was supposed to torture person A, but person B, the wrong guy, had a heart condition that wasn't shown in person A's paperwork, and so he shrugs his shoulders like it's not my fault. You know, like,
But it didn't. But that Tuttle was not the Robert De Niro Tuttle.
Tuttle was De Niro's character, yes.
But when they're having that conversation, the Tuttle Buttle conversation in the office, they're not referring to De Niro's character.
It was supposed to be De Niro's character that got bagged, right?
Yeah.
And they there was a typo, so they bagged some poor innocent guy named Bo.
Okay, now that makes sense.
Instead, yeah.
they bagged the wrong guy, and Lowry goes to deliver the reimbursement because he's, you know, he saw that the money went to the wrong place. Ian Holmes freaking out because they made a mistake, but it turns out they didn't make a mistake, so he's going to fix it by going to visit the lady and getting her to sign the fucking check, and he meets the girl of his dreams there, who is getting herself marked a terrorist by trying to help her neighbor, and that's kind of how it all turns into they all get bagged and fucking killed, you know? They all get bagged and tagged and tortured.
Right, right.
I don't know, it's just so many layers of coincidence and fuckery that just make it so
Fuckery's
ridiculous.
a great word, dude.
And I mean, there's just like the mother and the plastic surgery and the like going to the restaurant. A numero trois.
Oh my God.
dude. The like
Ice cream
fucking
scoops
green
of shit.
dog food that's like flavored like something else. Yeah.
And the bomb
God.
goes up, but they keep having dinner. Like, there's just so much satire.
Yeah, you know what the food looked like? It looked like ice cream scoops of like those. Do you remember when we had that Jello mold conversation?
Diarrhea? I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much.
You remember that Jello mold
Oh, I
conversation?
definitely remember the Jello
talking
mold
about
conversation.
like tomato aspic.
Yeah, with
and
hot dogs.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
hot
with like
dogs
the olive
SpaghettiOs.
loaf and shit. Yeah, totally, man. That's what it looked like to
Yeah.
me. I was just, the fuck, dude. And I love how every item came with a picture.
Right, of what it's actually supposed to be.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, sorry. I didn't mean to
Yeah.
bob out there for a second.
Between you and me, I would recommend numero 1.
You must say the number.
Numero 3 for monsieur.
Well, that wasn't even really his. He didn't start doing the French thing until he came back to the table, though.
I don't remember. Fuck, it's
At
good.
least that's my recollection of it.
That
Whatever.
very much lines up with the wafer thin mint skit from Monty Python, one of the better Monty Python skits.
Meaning of life.
But sir, it is wafer thin.
Mr. Creosote.
I'll have a lot. I fucking love
I'll
Monty
have the
Python.
lot.
Give me a bucket for my puke. The fucking gift, the yes-no decision-making gift that everyone gets, and she's bribing people with it. Like, I don't know. There's just so many little moments.
Yeah, that's packed.
Chock full of nuts.
You mean satirical bits?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so sharply criticizes many of the things that one encounters in real life, but makes it so absurd that it's just,
Absolutely. Like the presents on his desk when he
Mhm.
finally.
Or the fucking Central
When he goes-
Services phone call. Central
Well, he goes
Services. Like she says the
when he
whole
goes
thing. She's
into
like, this
the-
has not been a recording. It's so fucking funny.
Yeah, when he goes into Palin's office for the first time, and he's like, "What are those?" He's like, "A happy Christmas," you know, like it's okay. Yeah, you're right. It is. It's heavily satirical, man. But I can see
It's
again.
packed-
I can
It's
see.
packed with laughs that continually make you feel more hopeless.
Yeah, that's it. It really
Yeah,
is.
exactly. And it's there's a lot of despair going on, you know. So I can see why people are not like gravitating to this movie, you know, except for British people,
They're like, this is a light and fluffy, fun movie.
right?
I mean,
exactly.
just leafing through some of the reviews, I think some people just don't get it. You know, like it's just too heavy.
They don't. No way.
There's just too much going on, and therefore they dislike it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I applaud your use of the word leafing. As if we're holding up a manual of some kind. Collection
I
of
still
reviews
think in
and
old-fashioned terms of like going through a Rolodex or
100%, dude. 100%. Yeah, I think that's spot on, dude. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if I went on Amazon and saw that the reviews were either 5-star and all 5-star and all 1-star.
Yeah.
Meaning,
And most of the 1-stars would be like, so stupid. This is like, fucking makes no sense. And it's like, for me, the whole point is like, it's a world that's so absurd that it is not believable, and yet all of the things that are poking fun at are like, actually, that really happens in real life for me. Actually,
right.
that really happens for
But those,
me. And the fact
those
that
are
it's in an
just people
absurd
that
world is
don't
that's the
understand
bit.
it.
That's the point. You know, like
yeah.
but those
Yes, I
ones,
believe
like, I
did
don't
see one review. Sorry,
No. Finish your thought. Sorry.
I was saying I did see one review that was the crux of it was like, this is just too ridiculous and absurd. You know, like well, yeah, well, that's the fucking point, dude.
but is it though? Like, because it's not. Like, that's the thing. Yeah.
Well, but I mean, it's not the point, but it is, you know. But you're like pointing out the obvious, like it's
Right.
you know.
But it's fairly concise for like a dislike / 1-star review. You know what I mean? Like, it's too absurd and it's too ridiculous. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? And
But you could go through the whole list, pretty much everything in the every item in the movie. You know, the plastic surgery, the meaningless gifts, the guy that doesn't want to get a promotion, the boss that fucking, you know, like all of the things in this absurd world are lined right up with day-to-day reality for most people, you know, and it seems so amazing to me that someone could say this is so absurd and then miss the connective tissue, you know, because it's like so obvious, but I don't know. Maybe it's like the dude in Mallrats who can't see the fucking sailboat, you know? Like, I don't know. Like,
kind of, man.
I can see
But
the sailboat.
I think that the like people like I've seen other movies like that, like in terms of from a review, perspective, and it's just like that. I'm like, people don't understand it. You know what I mean? So like the people that are giving it 1 star and bashing it, it's like they don't understand it. But it's too absurd and it's too ridiculous. That's legit, man. Like if somebody watches it and they're like, this is too absurd and too ridiculous. Yeah, I get that it's the point, but they're observing that and they're like, this is what I think. And I could see that, man. You know what I mean? I could see watching this and being like, it's on overload, dude. I mean, it's on like Mach 9, the absurdity and the ridiculousness, like, and again, it kind of goes hand in hand with what I said before.
I mean,
about like each scene being so packed with so much absurdity and then visually so much shit as well. You're just like, you're really overwhelmed almost. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah. I mean, if I had like a genuine criticism for it, I would say maybe they probably could have like pared it down a little bit in the editing process.
Exactly.
And like,
ratchet
got
it back a notch.
Well, just got it like, a little shorter and a little more direct to the point sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Because it goes on for quite some time.
Yeah.
Surely felt like that to me on this watching.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, you guys probably would have seen the 15-minute shorter cut back in the day. So there is that for sure. But it is.
Yeah.
This is the Criterion collection after all.
This is the Snyder cut.
I'll drop my review or my rating now just because it makes sense in the context of this part of the conversation. Like, I think it deserves like a 9.
Yeah.
But I strongly dislike this movie.
Yeah, your attention span gives it a 7.
No, I mean, I would give it like my enjoyment factor is like a 5, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
But I know it's a good movie and I appreciate what's good about it. I just don't connect with it.
Yeah. And that lines up. It lines up with the conversations that we've had where the darker movies or the more nihilistic movies, sometimes you just like, I don't fucking want to watch that shit, like it makes sense. It makes total sense. Like I think I connect with that type of criticism. I don't really connect with the random dude's 1-star review being like, the movie's confusing. It's like, well, yeah, okay, but you're missing the point, dude, And it's okay that the person missed
some
the
people
point,
just don't want to be challenged,
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And I do. And I don't understand people that don't want to be challenged. Like that.
Well,
it's like a fundamental thing for me.
Mood, dude.
It's what?
Sometimes you're just not in the mood. You know what I mean? So like we've talked about that because exactly. And we encounter that on a weekly basis, dude. Almost every week, one of us is like, my mood was off. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's like, what are you going to do? Like I was watching, I pulled up Outer Range. I had started that and I have like 3 episodes left and I stopped watching it like, I don't know, 9 months ago. And I was like, let me finish watching this. And I started watching it. I was like, dude, it's too fucking dark. I said, I cannot watch this right now.
Sure.
And I put on fucking Seinfeld, which I've seen a bazillion times because I needed some fucking bubble gum, dude, not a fucking...
Yeah.
Piece of fucking licorice bubble gum. You know what I mean? Or whatever. That was a terrible analogy.
I like it though.
It works, right?
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
So, yeah, this is a interesting discussion, man. I'm really enjoying this. Why don't we do like a transition into some bits and bobs and we can kind of like
cast stuff,
go out on a high note. Well, yeah, we can kind of go out on a high note, bits and bobs with cast in there, talk about what we like.
Sure.
Because we just spent quite a bit of time talking about, the darkness and the darkness.
Yeah, sure.
And keep it kind of...
Sounds good. I'll keep it simple. Every bit with Bob De Niro.
Dude, yeah. Bob De Niro is so good.
Every bit with Bob De Niro is fucking gold in this. Like, it's just...
Did you just craft that on purpose?
Bits and bobs.
What?
Bits and bobs?
No,
Did
actually,
you do that on purpose?
My dense fucking head had no
every bit with Bob
intention with that pun.
But I love it.
Well, that's something I would do for sure. So I feel you. That was fucking great, though, man.
But I purely did it by accident. But I don't want the point to be lost. Like all those portions with Bob De Niro.
Everything about it. Yeah.
fucking great. It's great to see him just having like a cameo and just killing it, you know, like just like he got it, you know.
Yeah.
and he had like really great energy, man. And
Yeah.
the thing I just cannot figure out, and I want to we can spend some time talking about the effects here, is that like every time he ziplined away, I was like, it's so cool. But I was like, how the hell did they do that, dude? Like, he's flying. I'm like, he was moving, dude, and then he just disappears.
Yeah, dead as
like,
fuck at the bottom
how
of that
did they
zip
do
line.
that? It was crazy. I just love how he was like this, like, repair ninja, sort of like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
And the idea that
appears.
they want to bag him because he repairs shit. Like, he's not actually a terrorist, in my opinion. He's just like a guy that repairs ducts. And I love that they just want to fucking interrogate and kill him for that. You know, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I mean, it's just the whole, like, you know, truth is tyranny in a empire of lies, like, what, you know what I mean, like that kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's just like he's just like, he's making shit happen. It's like, you know, no, we can't do that. Now we got to kill you.
He's just so great, man. I remember not knowing De Niro was in this when I was a teenager and being familiar with him from all the obvious movies, you know, and just the fact that he just cameos in this was just, I was like, is that fucking Robert De Niro as like a fucking 22-year-old man? Like, what the fuck?
It's kind of so like it's a little bit of a buzzkill, dude, because it's not quite a cameo, and then yet there's not enough of him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But it's like
you really like.
It kind of works in his favor, though. You know, sometimes with like a drink, like or like at a bar or a dessert, like just a bite of it is enough. You don't need the whole meal. You know, you don't need the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
I don't know, and I like that this is kind of his first small role too. Like he just got involved. You know.
Yeah.
Better to leave the table wanting more than sick of it.
That's it. That's it.
Yes. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's all the zip lining away, the filling up fucking Bob Hoskins and the other dudes.
Well, yeah, with the sewage
and like, you know, even like,
God, dude.
Like the while watching it, I was like, wait, what happened? Like he just disappeared in the paperwork. Like, but that totally is so fitting that like, you know, his character basically just gets devoured by the, you know, like the paperwork gets its revenge on him.
Yeah, like the literal pile of
trying
papers.
to avoid it, you know. Yeah, exactly.
Which is another really well done like editing sequence. Like it wasn't a cool special effect, but the way it was cut together, you know, made it so that in the end, when Jonathan Pryce is like grabbing the paper and there's no person there anymore, it just, I don't know, it works, you know. He disappears and it's plausible, you know.
And it's cool too, man, from an effects point of view as well, dude. Like I like how that happened for sure.
For whatever weird reason, my favorite part of De Niro is his utility belt and the tools that he's got. Like that push screwdriver thing is just
gonna say that
so
dude.
fucking
Those
great.
are real, yeah. And I loved his gear fucking kit. His gear kit was the best. I mean, he had like one thing I will say: the repair people and the like the military, like and the cops type people, like they had like really great loadouts, and like they just looked like kitted up.
Yeah, their costumes were amazing.
Seriously, you know, and like De Niro's Tuttle was just great. It was great. I loved it, man. He had just so many gadgets. I love that.
We also should shout out his amazing mustache in this. Otherwise, we would be dead for not mentioning how sick his stash is. It's kind of a stubble stash, but it's a pretty sick stash.
Is it?
There was
I just watched Jackie Brown, dude, and he had a serious caterpillar in that, dude. Serious.
He pulls a good stash, man.
It's just having a stash is points.
That's it. Yeah.
But, you know.
100%.
And it fits.
He actually looks like Jarhigo in freaking Jackie Brown.
Rocking it.
Yeah, 100%.
Dude,
a compliment?
That is a compliment because I said he looks like Jarhigo, not Jarhigo looks like De Niro.
I love it.
Dude, this guy's cribbing off my boy Jarhigo. What's up, bro? 97.
Bobby De Niro cribbing off me.
That's great. Yeah. Dude, the Bob Hoskins, those two the Central Services guys, fuck, man.
Dude, I was like, is this Mario and Luigi?
And it is, dude. Right. It totally is.
Literally.
And Tuttle's got the kind of Mario stash too. God, I love those guys. And the fucking like,
Yeah.
do you have a 27B stroke 6? And the other guy's like, oh, and they just carry him off.
Oh no!
27B stroke 6. Oh,
Yeah.
not
I
as
feel like,
such, but we'll get one. I'm a stickler for paperwork. Yeah, there's just that whole plumbing, air conditioning, heating, cooling apartment thing is. It kind of has Korben Dallas's apartment kind of vibes a little bit, and like a bit of Blade Runner-y stuff in there
call,
too.
dude.
You know,
Yes, yeah, really more Dallas, I think, than.
I mean, there's a little bit of Blade
yeah.
Runner stuff when they're out on the balcony, you know, and like the zip lining stuff, because like there's the scenes where Deckard is out, you know, in front of his place, like
Zip
very
lining?
Art Deco-ish or whatever. Yeah, zip. Yeah, you remember the scene where Deckard zip lines?
Yeah,
And there's a monologue.
Rachel comes over and he makes out with her. He's like, "Hey, you want to go zip lining?"
Going for a quick zip line. I don't know, man.
Oh boy. Okay, I'll shut up. Go ahead.
No, that's it. Good call on the bits in Bob De Niro.
Oh god, that was brilliant, dude.
It's good.
That is. So that's up there in the all times, bro. Jonathan Pryce is always a little. I feel like he's always a little kind of. He's an interesting dude. He's a great actor, but he's always a little kind of nervy and little tweak. He's a bit of a tweaker in everything he does.
I really don't know what else I know him from.
Ronin is another big
yeah.
movie that I know him from. He's kind of edgy and weird in that too, and Irish. But I don't know. That's always my impression of him, man. He was a Bond villain and one of the Brosnan Bonds, and
Yeah, Tomorrow Never Dies.
yeah, one of the dies tomorrow's something's
Dying Never Dies.
All of it. I feel like the last 3 movies he did were Die Never
Die. I was in the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Dying Never Dies. What do we call when we did the Daniel Craig one? Because Ben wasn't around for that.
Oh, I don't remember, man. Oh, he was the High Sparrow in Game of Thrones. That's
Yes.
Uh,
Duh.
yeah.
Mr. Game of Thrones. You're dead for that, bro. Sorry.
okay. That's fine. He's just such a schmuck in this. I don't know.
Yeah, a bit of a schmucky
Like
schmuck.
I think like the bit that crystallizes his character being just like going to get eaten by the machine is when he's driving with Jill, you know, like he gets outside of the ministry and he's trying to convince her to drive off, and then he like puts his foot on the gas and like just ruins Jill's fucking life, you know, like loses the fucking shipment off the back of the truck and crashes through everything. It's just like, and he just thinks he thinks he's in his dream. He thinks he's being the fucking Birdman saving the day, but he's just
saving her.
fucking everything up, you know, like he's guaranteeing that they get black bagged through his stupidity. And I think it just really personifies how fucking naive and oblivious his character really is, you know? He's the rich kid who had the cushy job forever, and then he thinks he's doing something to make things better, but he's just making it worse, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like the dream sequency stuff where it's like, you know, they bang in his mom's apartment and then he gets bagged and then it goes to the end of the movie where he's tortured insane. Like that's meant to indicate the moment when, you know, he gets busted. But I actually kind of feel like earlier when he crashes through the fucking security gate with Jill is the moment where he actually gets busted. And even them like hooking up in his mom's apartment is also probably not, you know, happening. I kind of like it better from that perspective where like he wants to kind of push back against society and the bureaucracy, but he just isn't able to in any way, you know, rather than it like getting to the point where he gets bagged for the post-terrorist stuff, you know. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Like the futility of him fighting the man happens earlier in the film. You know, like it's like he gets the fucking Bob De Niro puts the bypass thing in his vents and he gets a fucking little personnel carrier lit on fire and then, you know, uses his power to find Jill and crash through the thing and smash the house, and he just gets bagged and that's it. And from then on he's tortured, and the rest of the movie, including Jill falling in love with him, is all just in his imagination, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bit of a cul-de-sac.
Yeah, and also very reminiscent of Tommy Boy.
Oh, yeah?
No, wait. No. If you stick your head up a butcher's ass, does that make sense?
Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Not really.
Okay, so here's the deal. If you take your head
I'll say
and
it
stick
again.
it inside a butcher's
Let me just
asshole-
explain it a third time.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be...
Maybe next time.
Next time.
Maybe
Gadget.
next time. So what other cast bits, Bobs? What do we got?
Torture sequence, Michael Palin's character, and the torture sequence and the baby mask stuff. Like,
Ugh.
there's
Oh my God.
so much about Michael Palin's character that I just love. I love always like the schmoozy guy. He's like, "Oh, hey, Sam," you know, in the security, and
Totally.
he just came down from torturing someone to death, you know. Michael,
And the dad,
and
I
then
can't
like
remember his
Sam
wife's
goes
name.
and visits him, and he's got like just like holes in his shirt and covered in blood, and like the lady
Totally.
that's like typing, the stenographer, who's just like, "Ooh, ouch," you know, like typing it all, and takes her headphones off, and it's just like torture sounds,
Yes.
and he's just like, "You can go in now." It's just fucking.
And then his daughter's
so
like
good.
playing on the floor, and then he can't remember his wife's name. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Holly, I'm Lolly. Of course you are, doll.
Yeah. And then like that bullet, like when he took that mask off, dude, like that bullet wound was so gnarly and gory. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like I was genuinely taken aback by that. I was like, whoa, dude.
Yeah.
That's intense.
You mentioned the daughter, like, he's like, "You can't wear a suit like that," and gives him a suit that's basically identical. And she's like, "Don't worry, big boy, I won't look at your willy."
Oh my God.
It's fucking
Right?
so silly. And his wife, dude. It's like, "Oh, you remember Allison?" And the boss comes and calls her Barbara, so he starts calling her Barbara. He's like, "Oh, it's a good name, you know?" Fuck, it's hilarious, dude.
That's a great bit of satirical piss take right there. I like that.
The boss man was great.
Yeah, he was. And the old guy in the wheelchair was, I may get this wrong because I
Peter
didn't
Vaughn?
look it up, but yeah, but wasn't he like the Bullet Farm guy from Fury Road? My favorite movie.
He was the crow
that I
from
did
Game
not
of
watch this
Thrones.
week. He was the what?
Black
The
Crow
Crow?
edition or regular?
Black and Chrome, of course. He's not in the regular edition. Maybe that's where I recognize him from, is Game of Thrones.
No, he was the three-eyed raven or whatever.
Three-eyed Raven.
Yeah, the dude over the wall that wheelchair kid turns into at the end.
I noticed Jim Broadbent had a little part in this too, man. I freaking love that guy.
The speaking of the old man in the wheelchair, the opening TV interview where the guy's like the newscaster's interviewing him about the terrorists is quite funny, where he keeps like making all these cricket references, and then he's just like the news guy's like, "It's been 13 years," and he's like, "Beginner's luck," you know, to the terrorist bombings. It just there's just the pure propaganda of it is just so good.
That's funny.
What'd you reckon about the plastic surgery? The two ladies, the acid and the face peeling.
Ugh.
I mean, it's just, again, dude, more satire on societal things. Like, I love that Katherine Hellman was in this movie, dude. She's
So
great. I mean, Who's the Boss? And there's other movies I looked up. I can't remember.
Overboard,
what they are,
dude. The mom.
Oh, that. Oh, my God, dude. She's so perfect in that movie, dude. You know, so it was great to see her. And she, you know, had this very similar vibe as some other characters she's played, dude. And, like, you know, just the whole thing of the stretch in the face and the saran wrap on the face. And, like, it was great, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But
And the other
again,
one,
like,
too.
it's just, you're right. I mean, we're just, everything we're saying is just throwing onto the pile of, like, more satire. You know what I mean? Like what you guys were saying, you know, 20 whatever minutes ago, like exactly right. It's just like satire overload, man. It's so rich.
In
with
Corinthian leather, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, rich Corinthian satire leather. Well done. You know, and it's a good thing, but it's like, you know, again, like I'm saying this because like you just said in the last couple of minutes, what did you guys think of X? Well, it's just like, you know, great. It's great satire. Like every one of these things, I think this is, sort of the strength of the like one of the strengths of the movie is that the satire is just great, man. It's like it's almost flawless. You know what I mean? Like he is fucking hammering the shit out of it, dude.
No doubt.
And incidentally, Harry Lime, the guy that shares the desk with him in the next office, was one of the writers for this.
Yeah,
and
man.
he was inspired.
Yeah.
And he was in Spies Like Us as Dr. Hadley, dude.
Dr. Hadley,
which I love.
Oh, Spies Like Us.
Yeah,
Dude,
I'll
take a death for that. I thought you meant Spy Game. I was like, where was he in Spy Game? Oh yeah, dude, totally Spies Like Us.
So, dude, that death right there for you with
Of all
that
people.
particular movie, with those two particular movies,
Cathcart
that's
affair.
like
It's not
it's like
forgivable.
that thing that Louis C.K. said. This is your death. Is that you get punched by Superman off the top of a building, and then he swoops down and he grabs you to save you right before you hit the ground, and then he flies up even higher and then drops you.
Yes. Yes.
Oh man.
What was? I'll take another death here. What was the name of that movie, Kev? With oh my God, fucking Tom Hanks and Halle Berry and a Cloud Atlas. Your buddy from Cloud Atlas is in this.
Dude, you know what? Every once in a long while, we do a show where I feel like my mic is not working because everything I say, you just like blaze right over me, dude. And you do exactly what you just did. I just said Jim Broadbent was in this movie.
Yeah, I didn't put the name together though, but yeah, totally. Well, give me a death then.
You got it, dude.
We're 300 episodes in. If you haven't figured out I don't listen to you by now.
Oh, sorry. What was I thinking? All right. I just gave you a Spies Like
The
Superman
price
double
is
death.
wrong.
Bitch.
$1.
Right? Holy shit. And then we got like a Broadbent. This is unprecedented. 2 double deaths in a row, man.
I double
I'm
death
gonna
dare
give
you.
Ooh, I like that a lot, dude.
How are we still recording this podcast?
I know, man. It's crazy.
Why? Because we don't hate each other by now? Is that where you're going at?
No, this particular one. I'm like, aren't we done? Are we done?
We done
Yeah.
yet?
Are we done yet?
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
I checked out about 10 minutes ago.
It was just like the
Nice.
movie, dude.
Exactly, right?
There you go. I mean, no surprise.
It works perfectly.
All right, so you got your Spies Like Superman double death, and then the Jim Broadbent ignoring Kev double death.
That's it. We should shout out
like it.
Kim Graced or whatever as Jill. Sexiest named character in the world. She did a good job.
Jill.
She did. Stop, dude. Stop doing that, please. I think, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, she did do a
it
good
doesn't
job.
work.
Hey, Kev,
And I what?
do you know Jim Broadbent was in this?
Oh, that's interesting you say that because Jim Broadbent was in this.
He
had a
was in
small
this.
part. Oh, look, I could watch Jim Broadbent do what he does just in Cloud Atlas like endlessly. He's so
No
goddamn
doubt.
good.
No
dude.
doubt. Yeah, I think we're done.
Anyway,
Benny.
we're done.
I got no more bits and or bobs.
Okay.
And I don't care about nuggets because I hate IMDb.
The only nugget worth bringing up, which is obvious,
God.
is the fact that the bureaucracy of Hollywood got in the way of this movie coming out, which is super ironic considering the subject matter. Like, that's pretty much it. The movie got
It
taken
is.
away from Gilliam.
Truth.
They cut it without him being aware of it and put a happy fucking ending on the end of it, which is just hilarious. And that's
Wow.
all any of the documentaries or nuggets talk about is that. No one wants to talk about the actual movie or what happens. They just want to talk about the fucking Hollywood thing. It's so funny.
There you have it.
And there it is.
All right, this is kind of interesting, man. I'll just throw this one nugget in.
Just to keep Benny interested.
It's just
TOS,
one.
man. Come on.
All right. Sorry, Ben. Just one thing. All right, De Niro. Everybody was psyched to have De Niro on board at first, but as time wore on, they found that his need for research and obsession with details increasingly irritated everybody.
I love it.
I love that. All right, deaths.
Take it away.
It's Chad, dude. It's all you, bro. 5 deaths in 3 deaths. I don't know how you did it. You got the
5
High
deaths
Sparrow
in
death.
3
And you got
deaths.
it in, I swear to God, you did this in 5 minutes. High Sparrow death, the Spies Like Us Superman drop double death, and then the Broadbent ignoring Kev double death.
Mhm.
Nice.
I like it.
My hat's off to you, sir.
I'm pretty
That's
sure I deserve a death for unwittingly throwing out a
Bits and Bob De Niro. Yeah. That was
I don't.
such
but that's
genius.
not.
without even realizing
I know, but that's
it.
not. All right, I'll give you the death for
not
not
genius.
realizing it, but my
It's like
God,
the
dude, it
opposite
was
of
so.
genius.
No, it was
It
like
was
a
so brilliant, man.
Freudian slip genius. Like it was unintentional genius.
Well, I think it's still a death.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna put the death in just because.
You know why it's a death?
didn't
Because
mean to do
you both picked up on it, and I was still like, "Whoa, what are you talking about?" I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh."
What's so
okay.
funny about Bob De Niro?
What's so funny about bits with Bob De Niro in them? What are you guys talking about?
That is exactly the kind of thing that I would do too, man, and react exactly like that, and not pick up on it till 5 minutes later. So
And then I would say
feel
the
you,
same
brother.
thing 6 minutes later.
Yeah, I'm a dumbass bit right there.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever.
Whatever, man. Well, ratings then.
Hold on.
Hold
All
on.
right.
Yeah, ratings. Holding.
Hold on.
So
hold on 1 second. Okay. Yes.
Ben already gave it. It's like a 9 that wants to be it's like a 5 that wants to be a 9.
No, it's a 9. I don't think my subjective experience really deserves to be part of the rating.
Yeah, no. There's certain ones where I'm like, I really need to just be like Roger Ebert here and be like, okay, this is what this is, and yes, it's great. You know,
Speaking of which, they both hated this movie,
great.
Yes, they did.
which I just surprised me a bit. Yeah, this for me is I didn't move it. It was already on the algo from I don't know 2018 or some shit at an 8.
This movie like birthed the algorithm. Dude.
Pretty much, yeah. It's been on the algo since day one, so it's an 8.
Nice.
It's a flat 8.
Flat 8. All right.
Up there with Total Recall, Coming to America, Temple of Doom, all that kind of stuff.
That's heavy, bro.
It's a fantastic movie. It falls. I mean, like just if you'll allow me an 11s on the rating, like I remembered this as a legendary film, like a 9, like a almost perfect film. And haven't seen it in a long time. And it does fall apart in the end, I think, intentionally. But the fact that it falls apart in the end kind of takes some of the enjoyment out of it a little bit. And so, yeah, it isn't perfect, but it's a damn solid movie. And huge nostalgia for me. So I don't know if I'd recommend it to people that haven't seen it, but I'd be curious how you guys would feel about that. Would you recommend others see it or not?
You've been
I
asking
would.
that a lot. You should save that to the end of the rating section. But I will say yes. I think any science fiction movie buff or fan should see this movie. No question about it.
Word.
You got to, man. You got to see it at least one time. You know what I mean? Like it's like Ice Pirates. You got to see it just one time.
It's like
at least.
Airborne. I mean, everyone's got to
It's-
see it.
Well, everybody should see Airborne as well, but that's not science fiction, okay? But like
I mean, it kind
when
of
you're talking
is.
about science fiction, it's fiction, but it's not science fiction. You're talking about when you're talking about science fiction, yes, you should watch almost any of them at least one time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my rating is as such. I'm usually very aligned with Ben, and I really believe in the genius of this movie, even though I find it very confusing at times to watch. I'm going to go with, Chad has it as an 8. I'm actually going to go with that. I'm going to go with an 8.0. Boom, flat.
0.
It's excellent.
Oh, flat. Okay.
Booty.
Did you get that in there?
I did.
Go ahead. What'd you say, Ben?
I said booty.
Booty.
Booty. There you go. I love it.
Y'all want to see some titties.
Bootay.
Big Bootay. What was that from? That's a death.
Big Bootay. It's from Buckaroo Banzai.
Oh,
There you
yeah.
You know what? I in retrospect, I forgot about this, man. This is the second in Terry Gilliam's trilogy of imagination. The first being Time Bandits and the third being Munchausen. And all three movies are about escapes from awkward ordered society. See,
Yeah, that's. I don't know if it's that nugget or not.
Elderly man, yeah.
Yeah, the boy then man.
That kind of
then
explains a
elderly
lot
man.
too. Yeah,
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I read that one too.
you know, it's the same thing in Time Bandits. Like the kid, is living in a just absurd kind of. There's a lot of absurdity in that world, and then he finds the Time Bandits, and he's like, "I'm fucking out of here,
Bro, I haven't watched that in a long time.
bro." Anyway, all right, Chad, what are we doing next week? We already decided. We have
Yeah,
clipping it, right?
This is the segue into the terrible news that Carl Weathers has passed.
Oh yeah, goddamn, dude.
Yeah, heartbreaking and shitty in all ways. And we're talking about it a bit in the green room and decided to do Action Jackson in honor of Mr. Weathers next week. So it's a fucking bummer that he's not with us anymore.
Yeah, it is, and we'll include some of that green room conversation in this so everybody can hear it.
It's bullshit.
So yeah, R.I.P. Carl Weathers, man. Great actor, man. Just brought a lot of joy, and I really enjoyed him. So,
Benny said it best: grieving, grief, cargo.
oh, dude, grieving grief cargo. That's what we're gonna name it next week. That's the episode title, bro.
He would probably find it funny, so it's not too.
I hope so. Yeah,
I think he would, dude. He's a good-natured, funny guy.
He'd give you a fully
portrays
bicep
one.
flexed, upper hand grasping, you son of a bitch, style handshake.
yes. He would
Biggity
clasp
bam, dude,
forearms
right?
With you.
Yeah,
Totally.
a standing
Totally,
arm
as the
wrestle.
meme goes.
You son of a
You
bitch.
son of a bitch.
All right, well, there you have it, folks. Next week, Action Jackson in honor of our good friend Carl Weathers, who we love, passing away. And thanks for joining us for Brazil. And that's it. We'll see you on another time. Bye-bye.
See ya.
And that's going to wrap up this week's episode, folks. If you'd like to check out the show notes, you can do so in your podcast app of choice or at our website, ebd.fm/episodes/241. And if you'd like to support the show, firstly, let me stop and thank everybody that is supporting the show, either by listening, telling friends, reviewing us, or contributing directly on Patreon. We really, really appreciate it. Helps keep the show going and the lights on, and well, it just makes us feel good about doing this even more so. So thank you. And the other thing is, for folks that would like to support the show, leave us a review somewhere. You can also tell people to check out the show. Contributing money directly is awfully great. And then, yeah, that's about it. So that's how you do it. And of course, join us on social media. We're on Instagram at EBD Podcasts. You can find us there. Thanks for joining us for Brazil. We'll see you next week for Action Jackson. So long for now, folks.
Stop into it.
Should do a Carl Weathers next week.
Yeah, properly grief Karga.
I shouldn't laugh, but that's great. I mean, the Predators are Predators, obviously. Like, it's not really.
I mean,
he doesn't star in that one though.
Like Action Jackson.
I
think Action Jackson's where it's at, man. That's like his.
Some black exploitation.
That's his GIF.
Yeah, man.
It's got Craig T. Nelson.
He was a military policeman in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Really?
Ooh, Hurricane Smith.
Inducted into the International Mustache Hall of Fame in 2016.
There's actually a Mustache Hall of Fame for real.
Oh, it's probably just some stupid fucking, because you can put your own topics in here. So the Mustache Hall of Fame probably put it as a trivia.
We should do a Carl Weathers next week. That is totally apropos, man. I cannot fucking believe that. I got that message, man. Like, such a bummer, dude. What the fuck, man?
Fucking shocker, dude.
It is a shocker because he's like fucking, grief Karga. I mean, some of these actors, dude, they look so good, and then makeup, and like you can't tell how fucking old they are, dude. You know what I mean? Like, he's the same age as like Sly and those fuckers, man, and he looks fucking amazing, dude, compared to Arnold and Sly. You know, like, I mean, he looks really good, dude. And I've just so enjoyed seeing him in Mandalorian, dude. I'm just bummed out.
No, he's fucking awesome, man. I hope they got him, they got everything they needed from him for the upcoming season of Mando.
Yeah, let's hope so, man.
See him off proper,
Let's hope so.
I hope so.
Me too, Jarhiko.
It's like old mate, the dude from Rome who died. That was in the Ahsoka show.
Yeah, Ray
sucks, man.
Stevens.
Ray Stevens.
Oh God, what the fuck? He was young though, man. That was even weirder.
Yeah. Yeah, not that
Balin
Carl Weathers was ancient. He was only like 76 or something. Like
76. Like when I see that, I'm like, okay, like he lived a life, like a good, you know what I mean? Like Ray Stevenson, it's like,
yeah, but
what?
I just feel like a guy like Carl Weathers, like he seemed like he was still in pretty good fucking shape, man.
Yeah,
like,
man.
I mean, I know heart disease kind of comes hand in hand with that, like, I've been a fucking bodybuilder my whole life, lifestyle sort of thing, but
Sure.
presuming that was what happened, because the only thing they said was that he died peacefully at home. So I don't know if he was sick or what, but that shit just comes for you like a thief in the night. Just boom, it's fucked.
Seriously, man. I just watched Jackie Brown because it's on Netflix. That movie's so fucking good, dude. And I love Robert Forster, man. He is just so excellent. And I read that he died like 3 years ago, and I was just like, fuck me, dude. Really? I mean, he was like the same age as Carl Weathers, but he was surrounded by friends and family. Like, that's a nice way to go out, dude. But still, bummer nonetheless.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, it sucks, but, I guess at least, 76 isn't a totally respectable run, and,
Definitely.
I would trade in a couple years for the peaceful at-home death over the, drawn-out hospital fucking
no doubt.
nightmare.
Yeah, fuck that, dude. Okay, so let's you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you have some message for him, Andre? He's the product of your profession, not mine. Each man faces death by himself. Hello. Goodbye, Father. Inside me, I'm screaming. Nobody pays any attention. If I had arms, I could kill myself. If I had legs, I could run away. If I had a voice, I could talk and be some kind of company for myself. Why don't they get it over with and kill me? I could yell for help, but nobody helped me. I'm